we're finding out that this the suspect is dead, and I mean, I feel bad for everybody that happens to be involved. Anyone who lost their lives, was injured, all that's just
Senseless.
horrible. But don't let something horrible blind you to, everything that's going on. You still have to be able to think and see things and understand things as a reasonable, rational human being.
Well,
You
it's
you
like
can't just let the system that lies just give you the lines that you want to hear because that's what you want to hear. In reality, what you want to hear is that it's a lone gunman. He's taken out. He's dead. They said that the suspect is dead, and my wife said, "Good, good. If anybody should be dead, it should be that guy." And for me, I just I don't understand what.
so he was shooting a long gun while
Maybe
driving
I
through
I,
a crowd.
I need to see footage. Nobody was. Everybody was hit by bullets that weren't life threatening. They just have you ever seen what bullets do to human flesh?
But they died by the truck hitting them.
No, I get that. Again, it's so hard to talk about these things without you know, and separating it, and being able to separate what you're seeing and what's to be able to look at it all in each piece that's there. And the fact that the suspect is dead means they control the narrative. The narrative is completely what they want us to
That was
know.
the truck he drove?
So now they're going door to door and sweeping for explosives and shit. What are we? What? This is a terrorist attack. This is an Israeli special here. Wait, it's a
Wait, what?
terrorist attack. We're not ready to report it yet. I mean, what the fuck kind of transparency is this?
I think they think
It's a,
it's something Arabic written on it.
of course, and this is like I say, this is the Israeli special.
Could you
You know,
imagine?
something happens. We don't get the information. We're told the suspect is dead. Nobody will ever interview him. They tell us everything we need to know is told to us by the Jays who control the system.
Like that just gave me such a yucky feeling. There's a an episode in the FBI program that gives you a perspective that none of the others Egyptian, all of the regular white people, right? Um, an Arabic restaurant was bombed, and they were trying to say it was a hate crime, and blah 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 blah. Well, when they did their investigation, the agent found out that it was an Arab from their community, and so he went to like the DA and the whoever was going to be releasing the press releases and all that, and was like, we need to let them know that this wasn't a hate crime. If you report this as being a hate crime, you're further dividing.
That's not an ISIS flag.
It's speculation. It's also they're not ready to report on it. But they
So
told
suddenly ISIS just appears again.
but he was like, if you push that this was if you don't correct it and say that this was a member of the Arab community that bombed their own business, you're furthering the divide and making that hate between races even worse. And they're like, yeah, well, we're not gonna do that. So they
I mean,
never did.
I
It
don't.
was like
I hate when
so
she does this because I hate. It's TV. It's fucking TV.
but my point is like the Arabic guys that are on the police force right now going through this, could you imagine what they're going
I don't
through?
care. They're cops. I don't care.
They're humans.
They're cops. There are no good cops. They're all bad cops. When they start arresting each other, then we can start talking about there's
There's a
good
whole
and bad
internal
cops.
affairs division that arrest cops. That's their job
They
to arrest
don't.
cops.
You'd be amazed by how much it doesn't happen. And I'm talking about arresting cops in the moment. When the cop is violating somebody, hurting somebody, doing something, cops never step up and stop it. So this reminds me of that same story, the Brooks, that Brooks guy, Robert Brooks or whatever his name was. But this is it's different
He
because
drove
again,
a couple of blocks through crowds.
yeah,
How did that happen?
that's how it. Because I mean, humans don't stop cars.
A couple of blocks?
Yeah,
That's a long way.
yeah. Well, that
You don't
Brooks,
hear the screaming in the seat in the
you
car
don't.
running?
It's going so fast. It's all, and there's so much going on, and it's just it's really an awful thing. But like I said, so this is going to be one of those things where
All these people are trying to flee out of New Orleans.
immediately, where are all the cell phone videos? Literally, in
Well,
the
like you
last
said,
30 seconds, they've shown us the same clip that shows us 5 different things over and over. That's all we have.
it happens so fast that people can't get out of the way. Why
I'm,
would they be able
we
to get
have
away?
to understand that it's 2025. It was over the 2025 mark when this happened. People have multiple cell phone cameras. There are multiple cell phones on them. And things like this, where they're out at things like this, they're filming. People are making videos. It's it's nothing like it's 100% like what we do now. You don't see video like when you look at an old 70s concert or whatever, you don't see any cell phone. Everybody's in there enjoying the music. You watch anything nowadays and people are literally watching their phones while they're at the event. Just stupid shit. So there would have undoubtedly been somebody live, somebody, making a video. There should have been tons and tons of footage of this. What is going on? I still the whole notion that the guy is dead and that the terrorist flag and the ISIS blah, blah and all this shit, like, this is so fishy. This is, I mean, it's literally, we're going into the Trump era. This is how this works.
And you're gonna do this at what time in the morning?
I mean, that's, if you're gonna go for the most carnage, that's when you would do it on New Year's in New Orleans. That would make sense.
At what, 9 in the morning?
No. This was overnight. This isn't all the hallmarks of an ISIS-inspired attack. He just said. They're not saying it's ISIS.
They keep showing this one cop that looks Arabic. That's what inspired me to say that. Like, he's probably going, "Fuck, man."
I doubt it.
We don't know.
They're pushing this ISIS narrative. They don't know what that flag is. There's only one apparently shot, one picture of it from one angle that you can't really make out exactly what it is, and they're not ready to report on it yet.
And they don't have enough manpower to go and unwind it and read it.
I mean, literally, it you could see it really easily if you just took another couple pictures.
Wouldn't that be the first thing you do? The truck crashes, the dude's dead.
Flag sticking out. You see, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is this flag
Right.
say?
But they're not. They have no reason to say this is ISIS. No reason. And now this has all the hallmarks of an ISIS-inspired attack.
This is Trump.
What are we talking about? And all the hallmarks of an ISIS-inspired attack. This isn't an ISIS. What? The fact that ISIS has been virtually silent, other than the one incident in Russia in the last, I don't know, 10 years, suddenly ISIS is just going to pop up and start attacking New Orleans. I mean, what kind of stupid shit is this? Why isn't ISIS attacking Israel? If ISIS is all about, their whole thing is that they hate us for how we support Israel, why aren't they attacking Israel?
Are we gonna hear from him? Is it Mar-a-Lago? Just made my stomach drop. What is that?
This is fucking nuts.
Mike, that's it. Where has Biden been?
I don't know. I've been
It's
wondering
been
that.
like 3 months.
I haven't seen him at all.
I was driving the other day going,
Hang on a second.
we haven't heard from our president in
Forever. It's been a long fucking time. Yeah, I don't know. That's something that I think isn't.
That's not normal.
I mean, he should be on TV every day. He's the president of the fucking United States.
Not every day, but
Hell yeah. He should be addressing his constituency at least every day. There should be something about him doing something every day. He works for us.
at least like solidifying his legacy and what he's done, like, so people know and remember.
I mean, this is just bullshit.
Where
This-
is he right now?
Right, why aren't we hearing from him?
Mar-a-Lago, who's not even sworn in yet, but we're not hearing from our president.
Where is? I was thinking the same thing 5 minutes ago. Like, when's the president going to address this?
Our vice president.
What's going on?
Why are we taking the lead from journalists?
So those are things you can do. You're going to see less vehicular traffic.
But do you like, literally, they just said that this has all the hallmarks of an ISIS-inspired attack. Do you remember the last time this happened?
Based on what?
This was
Plates?
no, that flag. But this was remember the last time was that white dude that did it at a fucking, like anti-Trump rally or whatever it was. That white dude drove through the crowd, and remember that was
The Raiders flag is black. Pirates flags are black.
the fact is they're just going off of that one shot. Why are they going off of one shot that's not very clear? I mean, it's all just and where is the fucking footage? Where's the footage for this? Let's radio. All right, let's see.
Do you think she's had a nose job or
No, I think her fucking face is flat. That is extremely flat.
she had her nose done, her lips done, her cheeks done?
Meteorological, she said at the time.
My God, she can't talk.
What they call a decontamination site. So what does that mean? It means if somebody were to release in the area
What are we-
chemical
what?
or biological attack, you want to have the ability to treat the people there. All right, so they will have
You hearing this?
a designated area.
No, I'm trying not to. She sounds like an
No,
idiot.
listen to what she's saying.
Bring in, usually for something like that, you would use water to decontaminate people. You would set up a decontamination site where you would herd people in and clean them off. So these are kind of all the things they should be thinking about and checking off those boxes. Again, it's a
What?
site that's
Somebody drove through a crowd. Why are we talking
Shot
about?
a long gun.
you can funnel in people in and out within certain points.
So I put New Orleans in. New Orleans music, song, Louisiana live cam bounce, New Year's Eve 2024, New Orleans Saints, news, and live. What?
Mitigate all these different variables. Your chances of success and security.
Dramatic footage shows aftermath. Okay. Terror attack. This is a terror attack. Sounds like the cop shot him. And people dead. Okay.
Oh, the Peach Bowl is supposed to be there, they said.
Okay, so not a single. There's all the cop cars are there, all parked in a nice row. Like, can you imagine how long? Okay, look at this line of cop cars. Are we saying that all these cop cars responded to an emergency and parked all perfectly like that? What's going on? This isn't right. This isn't right. Something's not right here. Before the driver exited the video and began shooting. And we still don't even know who that guy is?
First of all, we do know the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack.
A terrorist attack. I mean, I'm so shocked that how is this happening?
At about 3:15.
3:15 a.m. We're saying it was a terrorist attack. They're saying that immediately.
They're having a parade and a game in the Peach Bowl.
Right, whatever. Where's the fucking... So, yet again, not a single video. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see. No, it's not.
Especially when they're Eggland's best. Tastes so fresh and amazing. Deliciously superior nutrition. For us, it's Egg's best style. As long as they are the best.
This is weird. This is just weird. Here's another witness on the phone.
Briefly describe what you saw. Take us
There's the same old shots.
everything that you noticed on Bourbon Street.
Everybody parked perfectly.
So, Bourbon Street, like you said, probably about 3:10 a.m. We were
Who speaks like this?
Canal, which is the way the truck was coming towards us. We ducked off into a nightclub because we weren't sure what was going on at the other end, and it looked like just nothing we wanted to see, so we just ducked off into a club. By the time we got in, 5 girls had ran in frantically and hid under chairs. So us knowing where we were, we ran upstairs to the balcony to make it less
So he didn't see anything.
available if something was following inside. And what we witnessed was body after body mangled. Just as far as you could see, we counted 10, and at least 6 were instantly clearly deceased, and they were trying to get everybody just to stay inside, but
Man, that sure is a... That doesn't make any sense.
They found a bomb, a homemade device, in his.
So they say. So they say. I mean, this is bullshit. Something else is going on here. And we're not gonna call it out like for what it is. We're just gonna let them do it again. Immediately, this is a terror attack. I mean, I'm surprised they're not saying he was yelling out the window, Allahu Akbar. There's not a single video online. How? Guys, how? Guys, how is it possible that there are no videos of this thing happening in downtown New Orleans? Like, this is...
There's got to be some ring cameras on some of those apartments.
People are out. The whole area is lit up, and people are out. Like, that's where you see the videos and people that you. There would be so many people with cell phones.
The FBI took it over.
Doesn't matter. How could they have taken everybody's cell phone video just like that? There's no video of any of it. There's no video of the shoot. Nothing.
Well, my thing is why would law enforcement care if there's a video? Like, it's a car, like, we did it.
Well, I mean, I get it. You
There's nothing to see other than people die.
No, they have a real strict policy against showing that kind of shit, but it can be blurred. Just show a video of the thing happening. Like, and then listen to this narrative that's being pushed. They're immediately talking about how they really need to start clamping down.
He's saying it's stupid to do that because
right.
now you're going to corral people outside of the barricades to have to walk in.
They're
And
still
that
still
makes
talking
you,
about it. He's normalizing it. He's preparing you. We need more police. We need the police more rights. You know, people aren't allowed to film them and all this other bullshit.
look at all those fat cops.
From the incoming president, President Gutierrez has more on that.
So we're gonna hear from Trump. We're not gonna hear from Biden. What the fuck is going on? I mean, this is. I don't understand this. I just, you know, look at the footage you do see. Again, look at all the cop cars neatly parked. You ever seen what cops do when they swarm in on a place? They don't park neatly. All these cop cars parked neatly in a row and then left all their blue lights on. For what? What? I mean, just think about this shit. What are we looking at? It seems like nowadays it's 2024 when people have cameras everywhere, people have multiple cell phones. We get less footage of these things than we ever used to. This immediately makes me think of the Trump shooting. Where's the footage? Where is the fucking footage, man? This should be one of those things where like YouTube is consistently taking videos down or something because people keep uploading shit that, you know, whatever. Like, this is just crazy. I just don't understand. I don't understand why we keep allowing this lying J-controlled system, J-controlled news. They haven't evolved. Where we have evolved, we have moved forward, and we can see things from that 2025 perspective. They still want to have that 1970s, 60s control and think that all they got to do is just show us shit and we'll fall for it.
It's done. Rose parade. That's it.
This is just.
Football's more important.
Of course it is. It's revenue. I mean, it's all about revenue.
God damn.
They are revenue generators. That's what they do.
Well, they don't have any new footage they can show yet. There's no. So they've just been doing the loop of shit anyhow.
Right. They don't have any new footage, but they sure do have the narrative already ready.
They're just saying the same thing over and over, pretty much. But that dude was against, closing off to more traffic and making more people have to walk further to get into Bourbon Street.
Sure.
He's like,
but that's
stupid.
He's not talking about less police, less control. This is Trump, man. This is what it is. This is what the next 4 years at least is going to be like.
We didn't even get a statement from our president.
I mean, this is fucking insane.
They didn't say shit about our administration at all. Is Kamala still vice president? She had to get rid of that.
No. That's one of those.
I thought
every time
job.
No, every single one of those people, Senator Warren, whatever, Senator Bernie Sanders, you know, somehow they're allowed to leave their job for a potentially better job, go around the whatever, spending X amounts of money on this campaign, and then when they lose, they just go right back to work.
Well, a senator is an appointment. It's a lifetime appointment, right?
No.
Oh no, you have to run for Senate.
Yeah.
And you have to keep running.
Yeah. You have to win your shit. I mean, it's all stupid.
It is all stupid. I thought they always told us you have to quit your job.
No, they didn't. You're just mistaken.
You have to give up your.
You're mistaken. It's okay. You're mistaken. I'm sure nobody's told any No, I never heard that. They've always gotten to go back to work. And but this is that they're doing sweeps looking for explosives because they found an explosive in his car. Like,
They specifically said
a
a homemade
okay,
device.
so they found a homemade device in the car where he happened to crash. So why would there, like, how would they have known to place explosives around where he happened to crash?
Oh, it wasn't in his truck?
No, I'm saying,
it was
like,
in
if
his
they're
truck.
sweeping for explosives around the area where he,
Oh, yeah.
how would they have happened to know that's where it's gonna, that's where it's gonna happen,
Right there.
right? I mean, the whole thing is just, it's just stupid. And this is what they give us. And you know, with your, like, good heart, best intentions, whatever it may be, you don't want to believe that the government would lie to you. You know, you don't want to believe that they would show you fake shit in order to, control your thinking.
But
You don't know about the Mundt-Smith Act, which is legislation they passed saying that they're allowed to propagandize the people and present us with false narratives and whatnot, as long as it's in the best interest of,
my stepdad and all of his brothers are going to walk away from that news report saying, yeah, it was ISIS. ISIS did it, man.
Absolutely.
ISIS did it.
Absolutely.
And that's what they want.
Absolutely. Because suddenly ISIS is just a thing again. Like, this is just stupid. And for ISIS to attack the United States,
maybe because they don't want Trump president again.
but for ISIS to attack the United States and not attack Israel, it's like the here's your sign, ISIS isn't what you think it is.
Why would ISIS attack Israel over us?
They supposedly hate us because of our association with Israel. You think it's because they hate our freedom. They don't give a shit about our freedom. They hate that we fund Israel, who supposedly that we fund Israel, who then, kills the Palestinians and wages war against everyone. I mean, that's what they're doing now. Lebanon, Syria, Iran, you name it. Israel's targeting everybody. The Greater Israel Project is big. Yemen's getting targeted. We're doing the Yemen stuff though. Don't worry. That's some United States stuff. Like all you America firsters, you love this idea that American soldiers are over in the Middle East slaughtering people and risking their lives for Israeli bullshit. It has nothing to do with us. Literally nothing. We get no benefit from it. You guys are all cool with that? I mean, if look at the comments. If that doesn't prove that it's just a bunch of dumb Jays, look at it. Look at the things these dumb Jays say when they can't debunk what's being said. This is Team Jorge. This is bots. This is what they do. Normal people don't do shit like this. This is what bots do. Because they're programmed to do this stupid shit. ISIS did it, huh? I can't believe we're back in the back in the ISIS did it day. Right.
They said it has all the hallmarks of being. But like I said, people like my stepdad and all of his brothers.
That they wouldn't mention it.
And anybody that people, that's what they're gonna. That's how ISIS did it.
They're gonna. That's how. That's why they say it. They could bring up anybody. They could literally just say it was anybody, and like we would. Al-Qaeda, China. It's China.
North Korea.
They could have said it was anybody, and everybody would. What makes this the hallmarks of an ISIS attack? When again, the last time this happened was when a white dude plowed through an anti-Trump or like gave something, a liberal parade. Remember when the Trump guy did it? And Trump was like, well, there are good people on both sides of this, and like didn't condemn it. Remember? Or is that one of those?
No, I remember that. I couldn't remember what it was though. Like what it was, some sort of rally or
Right.
protest or something.
That was ISIS, right?
It wasn't a celebration parade, New Year's Eve. Like that's
Yeah, no, it was some
shit.
sort of rally in some sort. Yeah, this has nothing. This was no politically motivated.
Right. This is some sick shit. You got people
But-
from all
but-
around the world that came to celebrate. Like,
What proof do you have? Like the problem that I have at this point is that I respect the capabilities of the bad guys. I don't just go, oh well, that's impossible. I respect the idea that they can lie to us and they're very good at it. That they're very seasoned, they're well practiced at lying to us. And they lie to us all the time. And to think that like it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to close off a block, fill it full of extras, and set your stage the way you want it to look. Especially considering the driver's dead. So, no narrative from him's coming out. You guys just don't allow yourself to really, like, let yourself think. Don't hinder yourself. Look at the situation for what it is, and whatever questions come to mind, don't tell yourself you're stupid or you shouldn't think that way. See if you can answer the questions. Just something as stupid as the cop cars parked in a row. Don't just like overlook that and think, oh well, that's just what they. No, that's not what happens. This was also this footage. It was still dark when that footage was taken, with the cop cars and their lights on. So that means it had to be prior to like 6 a.m. This thing happened at 3:15. So are we saying that they all came in and then took turns parking and leaving their lights on and then go, like, what is happening in that situation? Be interesting to look up the Wikipedia edit history for the official page. I mean, this is stupid. You need the correct information to process and should know how to logically process information. You have a challenge. What the fuck does that even mean? Like this is where, again, we're just so different. I understand, like, this whole idea that six families control the media, they're all Jays, blah, blah, blah. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is 100% true. And the only people that tell you that you shouldn't think that way are them. They tell you not to think that way because they don't want us to understand it. When you understand that only, that our media is a complete fabrication, it's 100% manipulation. They run with the stories they want to run. When they don't want it to run, it doesn't. None of you heard about Team Jorge. None of you. The only reason I know is because I looked up Israeli news. That should have been a huge, huge story. Internationally huge story. All of our media should have picked it up. It was proof that they interfered with the elections and endless possibilities come from that story being exposed. And it didn't. Why? Because they didn't want us to know. You know, they put on TV what they want on TV. And you can tell it's real when they don't have the narrative already. When they're sort of trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, that's one thing. When they present you with this narrative already ready, already nicely packaged, oh, it's ISIS. I mean, we're not saying it's ISIS, but it has all the hallmarks of an ISIS attack. If they're trying to tell us that our country is so inept that a pretty standard ISIS attack can happen here, that's a failure on their end, isn't it? Oh, y'all here bashing him don't have to be here, and our ignorance fuck is 100% correct. He's 100% correct on just about everything he says. I really appreciate that, Sally. I'd love to know what things you don't think I'm correct on, but I appreciate it. But they're here because they're bots. Don't bother. I please. They make the video. They give me the numbers. They prove the point. The idea that only the dumbest, most ignorant individuals would actually oppose what I'm saying. And they most of the time they prove that they're just bots. If you really do pay attention to the way that they speak and the repetitive nature of the comments and just certain little aspects of things, certain mistakes that get made that they keep making over. Like you see, they're just programs. I'd say 90% of the negatives are programs. Because who's gonna, what legitimate person, what real life, non-J, non-pedo is going to be against me? And spend day after day, hour after hour watching me because they hate me so much. Who's going to do that? Nobody. I don't catch your lives enough to know what you're wrong on. Honestly, I agree with you and like to hear honest aspects of what's really going on. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Well, like I said last night, 2025 is the year of honesty. We're just going to be honest. Whether the person wants to hear it or not, the best thing to do is to be honest and I want you to hear this. I want you to hear it. If this means we lose friendships or whatever because I'm being honest with you, then I guess we aren't really friends to begin with, are we? But I'm going to look at everything honestly from now on. There's no sugar coats, no bullshit. And I know that's not much different, but I'm going to be preaching that it's all about being honest. Are we looking at things honestly? Can you honestly say that you believe everything you believe because you believe it, as opposed to somebody told you to believe it, or you don't want to offend this, or you don't really know how to not like it? Like, I totally get if you think gay stuff is gross. That's totally cool. You know what? Gay guys think vaginas are gross. There's no problem with that. Thinking something is gross is one thing. I think caviar is gross. I can't imagine why anybody would eat it. Am I going to be like, you can't eat it? I mean, eventually, yeah, we should stop harvesting fish eggs. That's fucking horrible. But, no, I don't care about. Right, I don't give a fuck. It's funny? People act like, gay people fooling around in public. Like, it's one thing if, I walk around the corner and you're jerking each other off. Yeah. But watching two dudes kiss, it goes against our programming, no doubt. But at the same time, if I walk into a room and I see, a man and a woman making out, I'm not going to be like, oh, let me check that out for a little while. Oh, look at that. No, they really look like they're into each other.
Right.
Right. No. Look at the way he sort of grabs her ass. That's beautiful. Oh, uh-huh. I bet his tongue's in her mouth. No, no, no. They're just look at like nobody does that.
No.
You're grossed out by anybody you see fooling around. Why aren't you honest with yourself? It's gross and not natural. It's very natural. It's very natural. There's gay shit everywhere. You know, and when you start pulling out those natural things and all that stuff, and I guess you're probably a good Christian and all that stuff, you know, you're not realizing that you're just pushing bigotry. Of course they want straight people and gay people fighting each other. Can you imagine how powerful our voice would be if we were united? All of those gay people and all of the straight people? Nah, instead we're gonna get mad at people for living lives that we don't do. Like how many chicks out there really like anal sex? Right? There are plenty of you out there. I know one that doesn't. And, you know, the idea that she doesn't means I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I really want it. Come on. Please, can I do it? Please. And then she's going, okay, I just get it done. Okay. Like, that's hot to me. But, like, am I going to, like, are you going to discriminate against a woman because she really likes anal sex as opposed to a woman that doesn't, or vice versa? Can't be are we discriminating against chicks for giving out BJs? Because if that starts happening, I quit. You know, that's enough. Once BJs get discriminated against, because that's not natural. Like, what's natural? Think about how gross we are just to begin with. What is natural about any of it? That you would put your mouth on another person's mouth and twirl your tongues around and shit. You only do that with, like, the person, the people. You don't just do that when you meet somebody. Hey, how you doing, Bill? Like, we don't do that shit. Everything about sex is weird and pretty gross, you know? Oral sex is pretty gross when you think about it. Like, to think about it from a, like, this person's not special to me at all, so I'm just going to put my mouth on their face, on their place. Like, that's not how that works. Although, if we were dogs, you know, I watch my one dog lick my other dog's junk all the time. And I just, it's natural. We crazy? I don't get mad, but I don't want to see or be involved in it. Then you should stay inside. You should stay inside. There's too many people who are just going around sleeping with any and everyone they meet. That's what's gross and not natural about it. Yeah, that's sexual life than anywhere else. What are you talking about? And it's see, we love to believe that like we're some crazy generation that's so much worse. Do you know that your grandparents used to drive around in basically queen size beds, and they would pull out to make out point or whatever, or they would go to drive-ins or whatever it was, and they weren't just kissing. They were fucking left and right. You know how you know? Because VD clinics sprung up everywhere. Your grandparents were fucking like crazy. There's a really good chance your grandfather probably isn't your grandfather. We didn't have Maury back then. But everything that you claim to condemn with gay people, straight people do it way more. There's more of you. There's more of us straight people than there is anyone else. So we do things more. It's like other than black on black crime, white people do everything more than black people. You know how you know? White people make up 69% of the population, unless you take out those with Hispanic in their backgrounds who just claim they're white. Then it's only 55. While black people make up 13%. And you say, well, white people are arrested 70% of the time. Well, that makes sense. If 69% is arrested 70% of the time, or 65, sorry. White people are arrested 60, we'll say 70% of the time. 69% of the population being arrested 70% of the time works out. For black people, 13% of the population to be arrested 30+% of the time, that's a tremendous disparity. But it's just how those numbers are presented to you. If they don't tell you to think about it, then you go, oh, well, white people are arrested 70% of the time. It's fair. But you don't think about it. Look, this shit's about to get bad. Shit's about to get bad. And, I just don't want to see it all go down, man. Well, if you listen to our newest song, we covered Anima. I want to see it go right in and down. Watch you flush it all away. It's crazy. I'm not talking about Gary Strait. I'm just saying in general. Yes, in general, absolutely. In general. Well, but this is one of those things that we're not like, we love to bitch, but we don't want to take responsibility for it. White people especially. White people need to stop having unwanted children. You need to stop. We need to start being more responsible about things. But we have to remember that we're getting, like, this is new territory for us, right? Up until recently, they used to tell us that we were supposed to get married right out of high school. That was the romantic thing to do. Marry your high school sweetheart, which is just insane. I can't imagine being married to my high school girlfriends, any of them. That's fucking crazy thinking. Absolutely. But abortion shouldn't be a form of birth control. And it's not. It's not a form of birth control. And people need to stop saying stupid things like that. Right? The vast, vast majority of abortions are like, unless the chick is an absolute fucking crackhead.
Well,
in which there are cases, or there's something wrong with them mentally.
And the state won't let them get
their tubes tied. Right.
Even when their guardian is pleading.
Right. And they've already had multiple abortions because they don't have the mental capability to fucking
avoid the situation.
They have a third grader mentality, but an adult body, adult needs, adult wants. And dudes are gross and fucking jump aboard because you wouldn't know it like at first. I mean, you'd know it 30 seconds into tucking.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. But then again.
Babies.
Right. Whoa. But again, we've been taught by the Jays through Hollywood and all that bullshit that we're supposed to be virgins. We're supposed to, save ourselves and marry the person out of high school and blah, blah. Like, it's just gross and weird. And this is how they've tricked us into seeing. People should be responsible for what they do. No, it's not. For a lot of women, it's not. It's something that unfortunately has to happen. But, women don't just have $400 or $500 to go throwing towards abortions left and right each month. It's a horrible, horrible thing for someone to have to go through. And if you're anybody that complains about abortion, if you don't have at least one adopted child at home, you can get fucked. I'm sorry, but there are far too many, babies in foster care in the horrible, horrible CPS program for anybody to say, "Oh, well, there are other options." Raising children is absolutely the hardest thing you ever do. Not physically, even though it does take a physical toll, emotionally, mentally, and all that. I can't imagine. Thankfully, we were in our 30s when we had children. Because I can't imagine trying to deal with all of that in my 20s. But to think that as a parent, the one thing you want, like more than anything, you want to give your child every opportunity to succeed. You want them to have everything you couldn't have and all that. And if you don't want that child, that's a horrible start. For that child to be being made by a woman who doesn't want it. That's going to change things. And if you know you can't fucking take care of it, then I mean, again, you're not going to be able to provide that child with everything. But see, this is going to be something you're not going to like here. Ready? They need to up their pull-out game. That's stupid. For a lot of women I've met, it is. I've been in prison and met a lot of them. I had one abortion in my 48 years and it kills me every day, and that was 25 years ago. Right, but you're not thinking about things intelligently. You're thinking about things from that broken, busted point of view. You made the right decision. You clearly wouldn't have given that child the best life possible.
Regardless, you can appreciate the fact that it hurts.
And that child probably wouldn't have had a father around, and, probably would have suffered a lot, especially if you were in and out of prison. That's a big deal. And a lot of those women, this is the part where you guys don't like it though. Ready? Women, you need to be more responsible for your vaginas. My wife hates this argument, and it's so crazy to me because I'm like, I'm such a feminist, right? I want you guys to succeed. That's your body, your vagina. I can't tell you what to do with it. I can't tell you, any of that stuff. However, let's be realistic here. I don't know when, I can get you pregnant every single time. My recipe doesn't change, and every single time I can get you pregnant. You know that going into it. For women to be out sleeping with anyone during that week, and the thing is, not all of you, for sure, not all of you, but most of you are well aware of your cycle. It happens around the same time every month, probably to the same day every month, some of you. You get all the signs and the symptoms, you start tasting it, you start cramping up, all those things. If you then go out and get drunk, or just you go out and sleep with someone, you're an idiot. And if you sleep with that person because if you're with a dude and you're like, "Oh, this guy's great. I want to sleep with him, and I don't want him to get away. If I don't sleep with him, he won't like me." If that's the type of guy he is, that's probably not the right guy. However, especially you could go above and beyond and be like, "Hey, you know what? Right now, I'm in that time, so I don't want to get pregnant, but here, let me blow your fucking socks off." That dude would be at your fucking beck and call if you were that honest and straightforward with him. Year of honesty. If you were honest and said, "Hey, you know what? Right now, I don't want us getting pregnant. We got a lot of life ahead of us, so why don't I show you I'm a team player? I'm gonna blow your socks off, and then the next time we hang out, you owe me." You'll be like, "Fuck yeah, let me do that. Let's do that. Come on, let's do that." Now, if that's a guy, like that's the guy that you want to keep, right? That's not just any old guy. I don't think you should be thrown. Then again, I do live under this idea that biologically our bodies tell us things, and we don't listen to that advice. Females, I think if you take a shot in the mouth and it tastes like poison, that's your body telling you this guy is wrong for you. Ugh. On a level you don't understand, I don't understand. Because we all know, females, be honest, all guys' spunk doesn't taste the same. There are some guys where it's putrid, and then there are some guys where you're like, that wasn't horrible. I would imagine it's gross all the time, but there are those, whatever. But if you, same thing with guys. If you go down on a girl and you're like, this is yucky, some yucky pussy, you should probably stay away from it. I'm just saying. But we don't talk about things like that, right? We're supposed to listen to virgins who don't pay bills and live in churches and consistently either violate children or condone or protect child violators. That's who we should listen to. The people supposedly hundreds of years ago who, so like I can't even entertain these conversations anymore. I got to be honest. I can't do the hundreds of years ago, thousands of years. I don't believe in any of that bullshit anymore. And it's only because of the information that I've learned as we've progressed as people. As more secrets are revealed, it either changes your perspective or it doesn't. Like, if you are at all into the Tartarian narrative, you should, your mic keeps cutting out. Huh? Not my choice. If you're into the Tartarian narrative, that should really, completely change everything. Because if you're into the Tartarian narrative and you entertain the idea of resets and you've looked at enough stuff to sort of validate those claims, which is literally everywhere around us, you have to think that, well, everything before what you believe to be the last reset time, everything before that is bullshit. And truthishly, everything after that is bullshit as well, because they don't talk about the reset. When you just, like, the whole idea of the world's fairs, when you start looking into the world's fairs that were put up in the 1800s and the 1900s, and you look at these, you understand that the narrative is that within 1 or 2 years, they would build these entire fake cities, just the most spectacular architecture and fountains and just lights and all this just crazy shit, only so they could tear it all down. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense whatsoever. And it's insulting that anyone would assume that I should think that way. Something like Tartaria. If you look at the Russian flag and you look at the shield of Russia, they have a Templar sort of looking knight sitting on a horse, stepping on, if you look closely, it's like a greenish griffin looking thing. And when you look at the Tartaria flag, let's just, I'm not even gonna, we won't even just talk about it. We'll show it. So we'll go Russia flag. Okay, so right there, the flag of Russia. You have that. I mean, yeah, never mind all the Rosicrucian, double eagle, all that shit. The same stuff that we have on our money, it's just a coincidence. These narratives so far apart just happen to be using the same symbols for some reason. But if you look really, really close, it's not even that hidden. I mean, the horse is stepping on its face. He's apparently stabbing it with a spear. Like that's a really telling sort of symbol. And look, he even has that like Quaker sort of Quaker Oats hat looking. Hang on. For the Russian guy has the Quaker Oats hat. And of course he has a cape because capes make all the sense.
Makes him a superhero.
So then we go
when they're riding and it's flowing behind him. It looks cool when they're riding and it's flowing behind them. Duh.
For sure, for sure. And then you look at the Tartary flag, the flag of Tartaria. And it's not even like a stretch. That's literally the same thing. Lay that thing on its back, put the hoof in it on its head, the curled up tail, all that shit. Even with the spike on the tail like that. Here, we'll go back.
It was the thing that was being slain in the other one.
Even get the tail. I mean, the tail even curls up and all that shit the same. It's not quite the same. Okay, I get you. But that is... How do you say that's not a thing? I don't understand that at all. How does anyone say, boy, that's just a coincidence?
If you were a solid mass.
So then you start looking at it and you go, okay, so this Tartary, what's this Tartary thing? And you understand that Tartaria is this really well documented, well cataloged. It's on maps. It's in history books. It's everywhere. There's actually this huge Tartaria section of history that none of us heard of. We've all heard the term Caucasian before, and yet none of us understand that there's a Caucasia. That's where Caucasians come from. What? What do you mean? Does that exist on maps? Yeah, actually it does. Go fucking figure. There was a real empire. The Great Wall of Tartaria is now the Great Wall of China. And there's the famous idea that if you look, the parts where the cannons are supposed to go, they shoot into China. So obviously it wasn't the Chinese that built that wall. It was whoever was on the other side trying to protect from the Chinese.
Oh my goodness.
There's just so much. There's so much. It's not like we're talking about something that some sort of rumor. It's not like we're talking about something that's not really well documented, like the Holocaust, like the whole 6 million bullshit. No, we can't actually prove that. It's not like we're talking about something, like, I don't know, the moon landings, where they happen to have lost all of the telemetry data and all of the information that actually proves like how we did it. Not just that we did it. We went there. You just need to calculate the amount of fuel they said they used. And then you say, well, where else could they go with that much fuel? I mean, come on. Clearly, they went to the moon and back. But yeah, we could do it from 69 to 72 6 times. And then we were like, fuck that. We don't need to do that anymore. Let's stop doing it altogether. And then we'll accidentally lose all of the proof. Like, this is one of those things where, like, for all of you believers, what do you think about that? Do you just tell yourself that's crazy conspiracy theory stuff and then not think about it anymore? Or how does that work? Because it's the actual truth. Like, it's, there's no, are the Jays a race or a religion? They're a cult. You can't convert to a race. I don't know, like, there's nothing a white guy can do to be like, all right, I'm black now. Or, in the racist bullshit way that you think that what it means to be black. Yo, I'm black now. Because again, we've all been brainwashed by the Jays to think that, do you understand? They put out a show called Blackish. And it's called Blackish because they didn't act like stereotype black people. So they were only blackish. And that shit ran for multiple seasons, won awards and shit. Are we that fucking insane? Why is that okay? Suggesting that they're blackish. That can you I mean, and then you look and it's like, oh, it's just like all of those 70s shows like Good Times and 227 and all those Norman Lear brilliant, groundbreaking Norman Lear shows that were all created by Jays, written, produced, like the whole writing staff was just, that John Amos, who just recently died, he's the dad on Good Times, right? He's suddenly written off the show in like season 4 or something like that with a heart attack. And the reason was because he had always been a pain in the ass, He would always stand up and say, hey, I grew up in the projects and that's not how it is. I'm not saying that. We're not doing that. So all these great jokes that these Jays in the room were coming up with, he'd screw them up. And one time, one of them wrote a particularly offensive joke that he was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not saying that shit. And they were like, no, you're going to say that. And he got in the guy's face and said, I'll say it, but we got to step outside first. And instead of letting the one Jay writer go, they let one of the stars of the show go. Over a dispute with a writer. You know what I've been wanting to do? I've been wanting to go into the history of Sanford and Son, because that's another one of these things where it's like touted as this black show, right? It's this show, this show about black people, blah, blah, blah. But it's not. It's not. These shows created the negative stereotypes, and they did this to whites and blacks alike. The whole redneck, hillbilly dumbass persona, they Created it. Hee Haw is one of the longest running shows of all time. Bunch of Jays pretending to be idiot white people. Doo, doo, doo. So listen, look, I'm wrong, right? Sanford and Son is an American sitcom TV series that aired on NBC from January 14th, 1972 to March 25th, 1977. It was based on the British sitcom Steptoe and Son, which initially aired on BBC One in the United Kingdom from 62 to 74. Wow, that one lasted quite a bit longer. But that's because, Sanford, I wonder how much they're going to talk about in this. And we'll see, because we just watched a documentary on this. So I'm going to wonder how much this narrative is going to tell us. Known for its racial humor, which we're just, I mean, my wife hates it because I watch the show now. I don't watch the show because I like the show. I watch the show because it's shocking to see how we were manipulated. And this show was super famous because it was one of the only shows where black people were the leads. At the time, that just wasn't a commonplace thing. So black people would my dad said that when he was a kid, if a black person was on TV, people would go to the door and yell out, black guy on TV. And everybody would come running just to see it because it was so uncommon to see that shit. Known for its racial humor, running gags, and catchphrases, the series was adapted by Norman Lear and considered NBC's response to CBS's All in the Family. Wasn't that a Norman Lear show too?
How was that possible if they were in that house there that was like isolated except for the house on either side of them?
Who, what, where are I?
Where your grandparents lived? That's where your dad grew up, right?
Right.
So he...
No, he didn't grow up there. No, he didn't grow up there. No, they moved in there, I think, it was like a few months before I was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they had been there for a long time.
No. Sanford and Son was hailed as the precursor to many other black American sitcoms. Don't you get it? The fact that they tell us that there's a difference between American sitcoms and black American sitcoms.
Always pissed me off.
That shows you it's still very, very prominent.
When BET came out,
BET had to come out.
I know, but it made me mad that they had to. I got that they had to.
It had to.
But it made me so mad that
if most of you were to watch, programming that was on BBC or BET from, most of the 90s, you would see stars, you would see like music acts and all this you never heard of. Because it wasn't played on white stuff.
Shit that was better than most of the shit on MTV and stuff.
To some degree. I mean, there was a lot of New Jack Swing and and then it became a clown show. BET was a clown show. One of the worst examples of BET being a clown show, it was like I never watched 106 in Park, right? I hated it. They were so
a band?
No, it was the show. It was their main video show. That was the show everybody wanted to be on. That was the show with AJ and Free. AJ had the long braids and Free was the short, sassy, the stereotype.
Because I just didn't know the name.
Right. So I never watched that shit. It always makes me cringe when I see, my family was, very respectable and
proper.
Not just not stupid. I don't think proper is the word, but not stupid, not clown shows. Making yourself a caricature so that you get to be picked. And so one day on 106 in Park, they had the first black guy to win Survivor. That was a thing. Just the idea that that's a thing shows you something. And again, I don't know why I necessarily saw it. Maybe I don't feel like I looked it up. I feel like I just happened to catch it or something.
I mean, you had to have been a teenager or something. Right?
No, we were together. And so they interview him and he comes out and he's not that guy. You know, if you watched him on Survivor, which another show I didn't watch, but if you saw clips of it, whatever. If you watched him on, he wasn't that guy. He wasn't like, yo, what's up, you know. He was just a normal person. And for anybody to think that being like, yo, what's up, I don't say words right, that makes you more black, that means you're fucking stupid. Why would being a worse version of us be something to be proud of? That's like Southern people rallying around the Southern flag, which is a symbol that, existed for 4.5 years and got its ass kicked. Out of everything you can think of in Southern pride, you can't
protecting the right to own other people.
You can't think of anything else that represents Southern pride than that bullshit flag. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're so
biscuits and gravy, or
a flag with biscuits and gravy on it.
I mean,
that'd be funny as hell.
Food. Food is Southern.
Fuck, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, damn it.
Southern pride and what it represents.
Yeah, I know. But, well, so he's on BT, right? And he comes out and AJ and like AJ's like got his hand up and he's all like, yo. He's putting on the show. And they ask him, yo, what's up, Stedman, or whatever the fuck his name was. You won that cool $1 million. What you gonna buy, dog? And instead of him going, all right, listen, I know everybody's all hyped and shit, but let me just take a minute to tell people, I want you guys to learn something. Out of that $1 million, taxes are gonna take about a third of it. I also have managers and all these other people that are gonna take another percentage of it. Which means I'm going to probably walk away with maybe $400,000. Now, I'm going to take that $400,000 because it is a lot of money, and I'm going to invest it in intelligent things. I might play some stocks, because I happen to have educated myself on stocks, but you can't do that unless you educate yourself. I'm going to buy some property, some fixer-uppers, and start flipping houses. I'm going to invest in a wing stop. And I'm going to invest that money to make myself more money. Can you imagine if he said that? You know what he said? He said, oh, I'm going to maybe buy me a Bentley, get me some ice. So he's going to get what, a used Bentley for like $150,000, $200,000? Take half his money and then spend another $100K on some useless fucking worthless fucking rocks, be broke in a minute. Like, that's what he was telling this young impressionable group.
That's what you do when you get money.
You get money, you buy them stupid cars and some stupid rocks. Yo, you gotta have some bling. And if you don't think that is like, it's like, okay, so where do you get the stupid rocks from? Who is it that controls the diamonds again? I don't know. Fuck. I can't remember. I can't remember offhand who's known to make all the money off the worthless rocks that you then go buy the most expensive fucking diamond you can find. Take it across town and see if you can sell it for even half of what you just paid.
My ex-husband spent thousands on my old ring. And, we had it appraised and everything, and it sold for
$200.
I think we got $1,600 for it. $1,600.
Because we did trade-in, though. Remember, we did trade-in.
Yeah, had he cashed it out, it would have been cheaper.
Yeah, it was like $1,200 cash. Because we've been tricked into doing that shit by who? Who wants us buying fucking worthless rocks again? Who is it that makes the money off the prisons being full?
Oh, and the jeweler that
The jewelers?
had the ring made at was definitely.
Absolutely. And so was the ones we tried to sell it to.
Was he? I didn't
Fuck yeah, he was. Him and his son, yeah. Steinbergs, Bergsteins, and, you
But the
know.
thing is that that 1600 was more than the jeweler I had it at first.
And he was like $800.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a dime. So, I am not telling secrets.
I've had jewelers. Okay, so when I took my dad's mom passed, and I got all of her jewelry because it was just me and my brother. Um, I took the stuff we didn't want, and the stuff that had the diamonds in it, like her old ring. They were like, "Oh yeah, we don't. Did you want the stone back? We don't want the stone. There's nothing we could do with that. We just want that gold it's in." Like what? The diamonds? What were you paid for? What are you talking about? Give me the money for the diamond. Nope. It's fucking nuts.
It's crazy, but
Why
that's
would they be that worthless yet worth so much?
why would diamonds be still valuable? Like, how do we diamonds? All the shit, all of that stuff that's supposed to be rare. I mean, we've been harvesting that shit forever. How is it rare? And it to think that like
Hello?
there are people that own like large places of land for some reason that they just destroy, they just strip mine and they pull these rocks out and then they sell them to like it's just fucking insane. It's insane and again it's you get married out of high school. You put yourself in debt to get your wife a ring to show her that you love her. And you have to buy her two. You have to buy the engagement ring and then you have to buy the wedding ring, right? You have to put yourself that money that you're spending on these rings, you could absolutely put into a house, a down payment on a house, a second car, whatever you might need to do. But instead, you're supposed to give them all your money and put yourself in debt.
Salary.
Right. 2.5 times, she said it's supposed to be 2.5 times your annual salary. That's fucking crazy. Anyway, let's go back to it. The precursor to many other black American sitcoms. I just hate it. Black unemployment. Black unemployment's down and unemployment's down. What are you saying? Are you saying unemployment is white people and then black unemployment is... It was a hit through its 6-season run, finishing in the Nielsen top 10 for 5 times. In the top 10 4 or 5 times. Okay. The series follows Fred G. Sanford, known for his bigotry and cantankerousness, and Lamont Sanford, his long-suffering, conscientious peacemaker son. Both characters are occasionally involved in get-rich-quick schemes, like people of color are,
Monthly.
to pay off their various debts, like black people are. The show includes characters Aunt Esther, Grady Wells, blah, blah, blah. Plot. Sanford and Son stars Red Fox as Fred G. Sanford, a widower and junk dealer living at 9114 South Central in the Watts neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. Black on black on black on black. So irritating. And Desmond Wilson as his son Lamont Sanford. Lamont. In the show, Fred moved to South Central Los Angeles from his hometown St. Louis during his youth. After the show premiered in 1972, newspapers touted Fox as NBC's answer to Archie Bunker, the bigoted white protagonist of All in the Family. Both shows were adapted by Norman Lear from BBC programs. So this guy didn't even create them. He's touted as this genius because he adapted them from BBC television shows. I could do that. If you had me watch hit TV shows in the BBC and then told me to make like word for word remakes of it with people, I could do that. If you watch The Office, both versions, it's the same show, literally. Jokes are the same, everything's the same. Norman Lear is the biggest fucking fraud of all time. I just can't stand the idea of him. Like, he is the man that exploited everyone and everything. You know the one show they didn't have? The Steinbergs, the Bergsteins, the whatever, where they were just these horrible, like, mean, racist, real life people. Real life Jays. That show never existed. Why didn't that show exist?
I mean, that's
Sanford and Son is NBC's answer to CBS's All in the Family, both of which are his shows.
well, the other population is too much of a minority, especially even compared to the black population, to warrant having a show. Just
No, every single show is all about that shit. If you watch Archie Bunker's Place, I can't think of the sequel to All in the Family. So suddenly now, super racist Archie Bunker, blah blah blah. It's gonna be funny because not only does he have a practicing Jay niece that he's now like the guardian of, he also has a Jay business partner. And literally, show after show after show is about them, their practices, them being the victims because the synagogue gets attacked, and that episode is such a clown show. It really is. Like, it's so insultingly, arrogantly stupid, the way that they portray this, the synagogue is more important. Like the partner, it's his job to close the bar that night. And the synagogue's having a meeting because they're protecting, about the protection, because they're going to go on nightly patrols. They're going to have everybody, all the civilians, the citizens are going to take turns doing nightly patrols to make sure nobody else comes and spray paints swastikas on the windows and lights a fire outside or something. I don't even know. Nothing burned down. And it's his job to close the bar. And he doesn't even tell anybody he's going to the meeting. He's just like, I'm going to the meeting. Puts on his hat. And Archie's like, you got to close the bar. What are you doing? And he's like, well, some things are just more important. And this is the episode that the synagogue gets attacked. And so the little girl says to the business partner, because they're all uncomfortably close, why does this happen? And he looks at her, and he sits down real slow, and he grabs her hand. He sits down, and he goes, we have been asking that question for 5,000 years. Oh, and they hug. 5,000 years. Well, from my, most recent recollection, the whole Jesus story is said to be 2K years, 2,000 years old. I'm trying to be hip. 2K years old. So, if the Jesus thing is 2,000 years old, what happened the previous 3,000 years that you've been at that people have just not liked you guys? And how do you know? Because, nothing was written down. Everything was oral back then, so none of it was written down, but we know they've been telling the exact same story for 5,000 years. No telephone game on that. After the show premiered in 1972, newspapers touted Fox as the answer. Sanford and Son was adapted from Steptoe, right? Again, Steptoe and Son, and All in the Family from Till Death Do Us Part. He literally stole the whole fucking premise, stole everything from this other show. Which makes you wonder, so where did they get it from? Because there really is two narratives as far as like the history of recording, the history of making films and all that shit. There's our Hollywood sort of story and that romantic bullshit that most of us don't really even know. And they sort of make it sound like it's this, they're groundbreaking sort of, but at the same time, they're all using technology that had been around in France and Europe, all over Europe. So I'm not really sure how the whole thing gets started. But an earlier plot for an American version of Steptoe and Son was produced by Joseph E. Levine in 1965. It starred Lee Tracy and Aldo Ray as Albert and Harold Steptoe. This version was unscreened and did not lead to a series. The pilot was released on DVD in the UK. Okay, characters. Cancellation. Sanford and Son was enormously popular during most of its run and one of the top 10 highest rated American sitcoms in its first season, 1972 through the 75-76 season. Which, again, so is that because black people are watching it? Is that what makes something a top 10 hit? Or is it because white people are watching it? And why are white people watching this show? Because white people have always loved the minstrel show. Right? White people love when black people act like black people in front of them. Act like that stereotype. You know, we should do that walk and you're dumb. Remember how you're like dumb and you misunderstand things and then and you use the words wrong. Oh my God. That's so funny when you guys do that. That's literally all it is. do the heart attack. Elizabeth, I'm coming. That's, oh my God, that's so funny. I laugh every time you do it because you're not really having a heart attack, right? You're not, but you say, Elizabeth, I'm going to make one. Oh, that's so funny. Sanford and Son put enough of a dent into the audience of ABC's The Brady Bunch. Your choices are The Brady Bunch or Sanford and Son.
Awful and worse.
These are shows in prime time made for adults. The Brady's audience of ABC's The Brady Bunch to drive it off the air in 1974. So it's because of Sanford and Son that The Brady Bunch went off the air, right? Even though it's like the number one show all time of syndication or some like it's been on for the longest period of time in some form on some channel or some I don't remember what it is, but so the Brady Bunch only has like 2 or 3 seasons, something like that, and somehow it's lived on forever like this. And then all the movies and all the other dumb bullshit. Sanford and Son peaked at number 2 in the Nielsen ratings during the 1972-73 season and 74-75 season, and the series was set only to All in the Family in ratings during those years. So we just loved, I mean, you ever wonder who Nielsen is actually watching? How they're watching? Like, how do they know? How do they know when you change the channel? What technology is at use there? And again, who do you think they're even now? It's only 12:15.
I'm not reading.
Sanford and Sons lead in helped the entire NBC Friday night lineup in the coveted bracket of the top 15 shows. It was Friday night TV. Chinko and the Man, which is another terrible show. Chico, and I was like, why that doesn't sound right. Chico and the Man. Chico and the Man. Following Sanford and Son at 8:30, ranked number 3 for the season, while the police dramas The Rockford Files and Policewoman, which aired later in the evening, ranked 12 and 15 respectively. The show's ratings dipped substantially in its final season, though it was quite popular at the time of its cancellation. In 2007, Time magazine included the show on its list of 100 best TV shows of all time. Jesus Christ, that's embarrassing. Sanford and Son was a ratings hit through its 6-season run on NBC. Despite airing in the so-called Friday night death slot, it managed to peak at number 2 in the ratings behind All in the Family and ranked less than 1 rating point behind All in the Family during the 74-75 season. Okay, so they're not really going to talk about it, I guess. After the series was canceled in 1977, a short-lived continuation featuring the supporting characters titled Sanford Arms Weared, terrible show. Whitman Mayo starred in a short-lived spin-off series, Grady, who was a drunk. Grady was a drunk during the 1975-76 season. Like, he used to pull out his shit and take nips all the time. Like, he was a drunk. His whole character was like a wino. So terrible. In 80-81, Fox attempted to revive the show with another short-lived series titled Sanford, but Desmond Wilson refused to reprise his role as Lamont Sanford for the new series. Right, and he ended up doing so well, right? So, it seems like they're just not... Oh, I'll try this. The series was produced by Norman Lear's and Bud Yorkin's Tandem Productions, which was also responsible for All in the Family. The two shows were both based on popular British sitcoms, and both were pioneers of edgy racial humor that reflected the changing politics of the time. Both series also featured outspoken working-class protagonists with overt prejudices. However, Sanford and Son differed from All in the Family other Norman Lear shows of the era, in that it lacked the element of drama. Sanford and Son helped to redefine the genre of black situation comedy. You see how racist this shit is? They think they say this shit thinking it makes them look good. But they just they're too stupid to understand that they're doing it on purpose. I think more so they're just doing it on purpose. They understand what they're doing. They fucking know. Because of Lear's commitments to his other concurrent series and the distance between NBC studios in Burbank, where Sanford and Son was taped, and the Hollywood locations of the other tandem shows such as All in the Family, Maude, The Jeffersons, and One Day at a Time. Jesus Christ. These are all just stereotype shows, which were recorded at CBS Television City or Metro Media Square. He did not have much day-to-day involvement with Sanford and Son as with the other tandem series, leaving the show running to Yorkin. While taping episodes for the 1973-74 season, Red Fox walked off the show in a salary dispute, though he cited health issues. His character was written out of the series for the remaining 6 episodes of the season, and it was explained that Fred Sanford was away in St. Louis attending his cousin's funeral, with Grady, Whitman Mayo, in charge of the home. Okay, listen to this. Listen to this fucking crazy shit. Fox, who had been earning $19,000 per episode, equivalent to $130,408 in 2023, sought a 25% ownership stake in the series. Tandem Productions fought back with a $10 million lawsuit. The dispute was resolved in June 1974 with Fox receiving $25,000, equivalent to $171,589 in 2023 per episode, to equal Carol O'Connor's All in the Family pay, plus 25% of the producer's net profits. Although Fox was still absent from production of the first 3 shows of season 4, NBC aired his return as the series premiere and delayed showing the previously taped episodes. In 1977, rival network ABC lured Fox away with a large sum to host a variety show, the Red Fox Comedy Hour, ending Sanford and Son, which had gradually declined in the ratings. The media reported that the dispute between Fox and NBC was over the lack of dressing room window. An exterior shot made him sound like a fool. An exterior shot of the NBC Burbank lot was featured in the season 5 episode Steinberg and Son. The storefront, seen only in the opening credits, stood at 10659 West Magnolia Boulevard in North Hollywood, nearly 16 miles from the Sanford's fictitious other address in Watts. The same storefront, minus the Sanford and Son sign, can also be seen in Emergency in 1973 episode titled Attica. The pickup truck depicted in the series, blah, 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 theme music. So, it's weird that that's how it's reported, because I just saw this thing saying they wouldn't give it to him. Oh, yeah, no, I guess they ended up giving, but see, that's just the thing. So, at the time, they had to go through the lawsuit and all that shit. So instead of giving this guy, who is clearly the heart of the show, and trying to secure his legacy, which will then mean this show will probably run as long as the original show, if not longer. You want 100%. Instead of giving him 25 and you getting 75%, you want 100%, so you say no and basically kill off the show. How stupid is that? He didn't just walk off the show like out of the blue, like nobody knew it was coming. He'd been trying to negotiate, and they wouldn't negotiate with him. Norman Lear is a horrible, horrible piece of shit individual who should be, should be looked at differently. And he's not. Anyway, go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. Put 0 in the payment box, and it's free. You could put $100,000 too. You have to pay it. You can. I mean, I encourage you to, but you don't have to. It's all free. All we ask is that you share it with somebody else. Go get your free download. Go check out the Facebook page. That's also in the link. You'll see that in there too. And have yourself a wonderful first day of the year. 2025, the year of honesty. We're going to be honest about everything. And we're going to see if we can't fix this shit, man. Because it's not the end. We have a lot to look forward to. So you guys, you guys have yourself a wonderful day, and you pedophiles kill yourself.